So this is the replacement transformer for the speaker that was mounted on the top, if you remember from my earlier videos, kind of using an available screw, and it was wobbling everywhere, but it was connected. These were the primary input voltage, and these I labeled the secondary to the speaker. This is the original transformer that was mounted through those two holes that were riveted, and I popped the rivets off with this drill, and the speaker fell right out. I mean the transformer, but then I couldn't get the studs for the rivets out, so I took a couple days and relaxed, and then tried it again, and eventually I was able to drill them out, and it was a mess. I don't know what those studs were made out of, but the drill would not go through it. In fact, I had an easier time going through the chassis. Anyway, so this replacement transformer on the primary measures about 365 ohms and would not read continuity between the two. And I found out that my cheap ohm meter, if it's above 150 ohms, will not read continuity, which sort of makes sense, but I had to check it. So I didn't get continuity there, and it read about 365 ohms, like days of the year. And this read about 0.9 ohms on the secondary, and it did read continuous. So 360 ohms on the primary makes sense, 0.9 ohms on the secondary I think makes sense, and this transformer appears to be still functional. This one, the original transformer, those were the primary leads to the transformer, speaker transformer, and I had to very carefully take a razor blade and try to clean the leads off and peel away some of the insulation paper. And I'm reading open. And then I kept trying and scraping, and then I was in the 30 mega ohm range. On the primary, and the reason why I originally hypothesized somebody had given up and replaced this was the only secondary lead I could find. So I took some time and poked around, and I tried to find where the other lead might be, and I finally was able to peel away the paper, and I saw these braided little leads, and I chipped away at it, and I read continuity just like with the replacement transformer between these two leads. But then I was skeptical that this lead was a single strand of, you can see the varnish on there. I was concerned that this lead was a single strand varnish lead, and this one, the part I could almost see, was a stranded wire soldered to this. And then I got to wondering if the secondary was stranded, and this were reading continuity because they were the same wire. So I peeled open the insulation very carefully, and that kind of fell off. And I don't know if you can see. I'll try to focus. But that other lead disappears into the windings, which appear to be the same gauge winding as the leads that are brought out. So I don't know what happened and why this was used by the manufacturer, and not the same as the other one. Maybe the other winding is buried deeper, and this other one came out, and they just decided to, since it was under the paper, put a stranded wire on it. I don't know what happened, and I'm a little dubious, but I think the secondary on this is okay, because it reads very similar to the secondary ohm reading on the replacement, and there's continuity. So I don't know what I'm going to do about these primaries. Something's wrong because they're reading open, and I don't know how much I want to dig into this to see if I can kind of diagnose it, but there's no sense putting this back in if I'm only getting 30 mega ohms on the input, which doesn't make sense. So let me think about this a little more and maybe peel it apart and see what I can figure out.
You want a beer?
No. So I don't know if you can see it, but these are the primary solder connections to the input leads, and look how tiny they are. Remember, it's a step down transformer, so it's probably going from 120 to, oh, I don't know, just guessing 24 or 12 or something to power the speaker. And while they look connected, look how fine they are and how subject to damage or shorting or burning out. So I'm reading open at the connection leads. I'm reading open at those solder joints. And the only thing left to do is pull off those fine, thin, varnished primary windings and maybe scrape it with sandpaper and see if I actually do have an open. But I think this transformer's shot, and I'm gonna finish filming for now. But this radio is really not exciting me because every tube seems to be bad. Recapping is one thing, and that's easy. Well, not easy, but a pain in the ass. But I don't know. I'm trying to save everything as original, and I'm not sure this project's worth it. But so this is bad speaker transformer, lesson number 1, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do next, but thanks for watching. I decided to plug the leads right into the 120 volt outlet. Something's happening. Hear that transformer hum? And I'm only getting 4 or 5 volts on the secondary. So something strange is going on. Maybe I should try the other one. This one is a lot quieter. But I'm still reading 5 volts on the secondary. Something's up. I almost want to try that again. I don't know what's going on, but it's still making 4 or 5 volts. But listen to that hum. You don't want that in a radio. Oh well. Interesting. I'll have to think about this. Comments are welcome, please. Thanks for watching Craft Cuba.